You're listening to WUSM Hattiesburg. It's time for the Southern Miss Student Media Weekly Wrap Up. The Southern Miss Student Media Weekly Wrap Up is a look at the events Southern Miss Student Media covered throughout the week and the events Southern Miss Student Media is working on for next week.
Hello, Golden Eagles, and welcome to the weekly wrap-up show on Southern Miss Radio. You're tuned in to WUSM 88.5. I'm your host for today, Adeline Fields, and today we're taking a look back at what SM2 has been up to this past week, as well as what's coming up next. SM2 is Southern Miss's student media network covering news, entertainment, sports, and campus events across multiple platforms. I've got some of our student leaders here with me to break it all down, and we'll be back with Andy from the Student Prints right after this.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in our community. To learn more or get involved, call 601-545-7141. We have one life. To live better, we must live united.
Welcome back. Let's start with the student prints. Andy, can you tell us a little about the prints for those who might not be familiar, like what you cover and how students can engage with it?
Sure. The Student Prints is the official student newspaper at the University of Southern Mississippi. It's one of the oldest in the state, I believe. It's been in publication since 1927. There were a few other papers before it, but this has been the one that stuck. We just cover everything, try to cover everything that goes around on Southern Miss, as well as Hattiesburg, and we throw in little bits of national news as well. You can find it in just about any main area of campus, including this semester we just started putting them in dormitories. They are in the lobbies of Wilbur Hall, Hillcrest Hall, and in the Learning Center of Central Park North.
That sounds really great. So can you tell us about some of the standout stories this week that y'all put out?
Sure. Got a few great stories this week, and one of the ones that we start off with on the front page is something that I personally have a lot of thoughts about, and I'm sure everybody under the age of 25 that gets this does, and that's the dining dollars. Mm-hmm. It's like a double-edged sword. You know, you get free money on your card, but you also got to pay for it. But
so
Katie,
it's not so free.
Yeah, that's right. Katie's Renfro did a good article on your story on that. On it, still drawing mixed reactions. I think they just implemented that last semester or the semester before. Something else that comes up on the front page and on the second page is coverage of Black History Month, which I love these history articles and highlight articles and things. I took a visit to the African American Military History Museum in downtown Hattiesburg. Very historic. I'll say this for being in the area of town it's in, I wasn't expecting it to be what it was. As all the stuff that they've got, it's pretty cool. We even got a word search puzzle in there this week, but it's mostly like news related. A couple other big stories we have is a highlight story on Lieutenant Colonel Sheena Paulielli. Not good with names sometimes. This is a lady who went from leading deep sea fishing tours, and now she's over Air Force cadets at Southern Miss. Which, for those of you who don't know, Southern Miss has a very large Air Force ROTC chapter here. Mm-hmm. Couple other things we have. Kiara Fox did a great story on STI rates rising at college students. Something that really needs to be talked about that doesn't get talked about that much. People just get up there and they don't care. Another big thing, and this is one of my personal favorite days, and this was actually held this morning, is Southern Miss preparing for Arbor Day. It's one of my favorite days. It's a day to recognize nature and replant trees and things like that. And today's event was replanting trees that were torn up by the 2013 tornado, which did a number on our campus as well as William Cary's. A couple other big stories is an update to last week's story about the bounty hunter bill in the state of Mississippi. The Gulf of Mexico name change, which people are loving, which I say we'll save the trouble. We won't call it the Gulf of Mexico or the Gulf of America. We name it for a Southern Miss alumni, the Gulf of Margaritaville.
Hey. Yes.
And then we round out the paper with coverage of Southern Miss celebrating National Women's and Sports Day. So it was good. I think this was a really good week for the paper.
It's awesome. Looking ahead to next week, are there any...
The Gulf of Mexico's name has been changed to the Gulf of America, which has caused outrage and confusion around it.
Are there any big stories that we should be looking out for next week?
I'll say I'm not really sure right off. I have to talk to our content director about that. He's the one thing that's changed about the student prints and student media in from last semester to this semester is it used to be all of the student leaders would assign stories to MMJs, but now we have a division for that led by Micah and what can we look forward to next week?
Man, I know Kaylin Fox Thomas, one of my MMJs. She's working on a Department of Education story. Gabby Cox, she did an amazing story on Wilbur Hall and how they don't have any security cameras over there. And that story has picked up a lot of traction, and she should be doing a follow-up on that story because I believe the SGA is now working with the university police to develop a plan to get more surveillance cameras over there. We have softball outlook coming out. We have stories about, tariffs, the new tariffs that have been placed. We have a lot of stories about national stuff, and we have a lot of stories about stuff that's going on here in our community. So yeah, just new. We have our meeting today, so we'll talk about it a little bit more.
Okay. And we can talk a little bit more about your division in a little while. We'll come back to that. So sounds like the Prince has been working really hard. Y'all have been putting out some great stories.
Been trying to. I'm really proud of everybody for what they've done.
Yeah. So
high quality student journalism.
Yeah. So definitely go pick up some of those copies. They've got some really great stuff. Next up, we'll be hearing from Clara with an update on SM2V after this quick break.
People do it everywhere.
In the kitchen, in the bedroom.
Yes, even the park.
When it comes to your health,
there is no wrong place or time to get an HIV test.
Knowing your HIV status allows you to live your life
and stay healthy.
So pick a spot. Make HIV testing a part of your routine.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
And be glad you did.
I'm Jamie Presley.
I'm Jay Ellis.
I'm Ray Santiago.
I'm Terrence J.
And I'm
acting against AIDS.
Visit cdc.gov/doing it.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Next, let's turn to SMTV. Clara, can you give us a quick introduction to SMTV and the kind of content that y'all have been producing?
So SMTV airs every Thursday around 10 a.m. on our YouTube channel. Shout out Southern Miss Student Media on YouTube. That's where you can find our episodes. They're also on our website, I believe. So you can go to SM2, whatever our website is. I'm sure someone in here knows it. Oh my God. But this past show, we had a story that highlighted a new application and program that our campus is starting and putting through the works. It's called Eagle Hub, and it's basically a hub where students can sign up their groups and organizations and just help with organization with their activities and things they do through those groups and organizations. You can get officially recognized on USM if you sign up with Eagle Hub. If you don't, you'll be out of the, like, we're moving from just a website to a new, completely new program. And we had a story on that. It was our top story. And then we also had a recap of the nursing school, had a symposium, I think last week. So we have a recap of that. We also have a recap of Ada Limon. Sorry if I butchered your name. She came and had like a speaking. She came and spoke to students. It was an honors forum, I think, and a lot of students came to that, got signatures, bought books from her. It was a really nice turnout. So we have a recap on that, and then also we have our weather update report. Go check that out. There's still valid information that you can get from that for the upcoming days. We also have a partner story with the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center. I'm so sorry. My words are just crazy today. About a allergy that is transmitted by ticks, and like the information with that, keep you educated and up to date. We also have a sports recap, which our anchor Gabriel Calhoun did. It was really nice, really good. But yeah, for the most part, that's it. Oh, also, Eagle interview for this season aired with this episode, so go onto our YouTube. The full interview is on our website, but we do have a pretty good bit of the interview in our show. So go watch the episode. It's on there. We got to talk with, I know her first name's Nicole. I don't know her last name, but she's the director for the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center. Goodness gracious. But that's kind of like a quick recap of this past week's episode. There's more that I've left out, and if you want to know more, you better go watch it.
Yeah, it was a really great episode this week, so definitely go check that out on the YouTube, which is the
Southern Miss Student Media.
Southern Miss Student Media. So we're going to take another quick break, but we'll be back with some updates on Southern Miss Today Radio right after.
Police officers continue to leave rural counties in South Mississippi for departments that offer higher pay. Some mayors say retention is at an all-time low, leaving smaller communities struggling to keep their forces staffed. But tight budgets mean limitations with increasing pay. Representative Jeffrey Harness aims to alleviate some of that financial pressure with House Bill 855. It would give officers a one-time $600 stipend if they stay with the department for at least a year.
It's going to be about $6.5 million. I figure we can start there, and then maybe we can move to something bigger, but at least it's a start.
Representative Harness says if Bill 855 doesn't pass this year, he'll bring it back. I'm Kennedy Drake, reporting for the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center.
When you find a partner that has the same vision, that has the same motivation, has the same desire as you, it makes life easy. And MDRS was that partner. And we knew there was a workforce out there that we weren't capitalizing on. We found that MDRS was there, and they were not only willing and ready, but they came to the plate with great collaboration and resources, and we just were so pleased. This is where we really, truly start changing lives.
Contact the Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services today.
Brought to you by the Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services, the Mississippi Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the Lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
In Southeast Mississippi, we stand united for the most vulnerable in our community. Become a game changer and volunteer by calling United Way of Southeast Mississippi at 601-545-7141. We have one life. To live better, we must live united.
Welcome back. Now let's talk about Southern Miss Today, which is our daily radio news show. My name is Adeline Fields. I'm the program director for WUSM. Southern Miss Today brings listeners news, interviews, and discussions every weekday at noon, Monday through Thursday. This past week, we had some really great guests, including Donald Yee on Darwin Day and several really great student spotlights. We also air our favorite clips from our multimedia journalist and SM2 as well as some brief stories from the Mississippi Moments podcast. And we had some really good ones this week, so definitely go check that out on our YouTube. So, yeah, I mean, pretty quick update on the radio today, but that's all. We have another break, and then we'll be talking to Carter with our Stratcom division.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
So our social media presence is a really, really big part of how we connect with students here at USM, and that is where our Stratcom division comes in with Carter. Can you talk a little bit about what your team does and how social media plays a really big role in SM2?
Yeah. Well, what's up, listeners? As Adeline said, my name is Carter Crow, and I am the student leader for the Stratcom division here at SM2. And so every day throughout the week, we post onto our social medias videos, posts, reels, everything you can think of. To get engagement from our student body. You know, we really hold our values in being the voice of the student here at SM2, and we like to look at social media as our biggest way to connect to those students and reach them, given, you know, everybody's on social medias nowadays. But so first off, I just would like to shamelessly plug. I would like anybody and everybody to follow us on SM2.USM on Instagram and Facebook. But so this week specifically, you know, we got to promote Black History Month on Monday, going through all of the firsts, you know, throughout USM history. Got a lot of good reviews and feedback from that, and then we got to promote the new show Beyond Borders, which is being produced by our creative division. It's a really awesome international show where we have students from different areas of the world come together and talk about, you know, life and traditions and what it's like to be here nor there. And so that's a really interesting and cool deep dive that we get to do at SM2, but you can see clips from that on our feed on our social medias. Continuing from that, we've also been promoting Valentine's Day this week. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody, but this week we wanted to get a head start and start on Monday, but we have videos of people receiving little affirmations that we created for Valentine's Day, you know, give a little positivity, a little happiness. And we've got a video up now that I am very excited about. We took a box, we painted it, made it all cutesy or whatever, and we wrote love letters on it. And we asked students to write anonymous love letters to their secret admirers. And so our latest video is us reading those letters, and we got some pretty interesting content from that. I will say there are some lovebirds on this campus, and somebody needs to know about it. So if anybody is interested in checking that out, that is up on our Instagram now at, like I said, SM2.USM. Hit us a follow. Go ahead and go there, and feel free to Instagram DM us. We got we've gotten a couple over the past couple of weeks, but recently, last night, I actually received an Instagram DM talking about a story that we promoted in the paper, and the Instagram DM was from a lady who wanted to actually help with our follow-up and provide an interview and provide some quotes for our follow-up. So this is, this is what we want from students. We want engagement. We want y'all to connect with us and to talk to us and tell us what's going on, because that's how we know what to promote and tell everybody else in the news, what's going on. So I would like to encourage listeners to, reach out to us, message us, take a second to look at our Instagram, because you can learn a lot from that and you can really, really make some change with that.
Y'all have been doing like an incredible job with the social media page. It has been like some really awesome content.
I love
lately.
hearing it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Adeline. I appreciate it.
I've been seeing all kinds of reposts all over my page. It's been really good stuff. So y'all go check out the social media pages. Let's switch over to our content division with Micah. You oversee the content division and all of the multimedia journalists, the MMJs. Can you talk a little bit about what your team does?
So just content division or the MMJs, our main goal is to go get the stories for everybody to use. I tell them that we're the engine of SM2. Carter doesn't have anything to post on social. Clara doesn't have a TV show. Andy doesn't have a paper. Y'all don't have radio rap. So if they're not going out and getting the content and making it and making it available for everybody, there is no SM2. So it's a lot of pressure on them. But these first 3-4 weeks of school, they've done a great job at learning, because a lot of them are new, but not just learning, but making sure that their content was out and ready for people to use.
Yeah, our MMJs are definitely like the heart and soul of the Student Media Center.
Agreed.
They've been putting out really good stuff, and it's been really great getting to meet with some of them too, to work on things. Do y'all have anything in the works coming up that you can talk about?
Like I mentioned, earlier in the show, the Department of Education story, we have an MMJ that's going to do an interview with the local private school principal and get because that's who's going to be affected. The public schools and the private schools are going to be affected, not necessarily colleges, but just getting out in the Hattiesburg community. A follow-up, like I said, on the Wilbur story, because that story has really done a lot, for students. Mm-hmm. And that's what we want our MMJs to be, is the voice of the students. So just Gabby being able to go out there and just one story in the paper, one video, was able to, kind of get the petition some more notice, and the petition picked up steam, and then now we're here. Same thing with, like Andy said, the STI story in the paper by Kiara Fox. That's a great story, informing students, because a lot of, like Andy said, people are not going to go out their way to learn that information. So, yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming up. It's always something with the new president we have. So, I don't have to worry about content whenever because he always saying something, doing something. So, we'll have our meeting at 3:00, and then we'll get a better understanding of what we got going into next week.
That's really great. I'm looking forward to seeing some of those stories that are coming up.
Yep.
Thank you guys all so much. That is about it for this week's weekly wrap-up. Again, big thanks to Andy, Clara, Carter, and Micah for sharing these updates. Make sure to follow us on our social media, check out the student prints, watch SM2V, tune into the radio, look on the website, all the things. I'm Adeline Fields, and y'all have a really great day, and happy Valentine's Day.
This has been the Southern Miss Student Media Weekly Wrap Up. A look at the events Southern Miss Student Media has covered throughout the week and the events Southern Miss Student Media is working on for next week. The Southern Miss Student Media Weekly Wrap Up airs Fridays at noon on Southern Miss Radio. We'll see you next week for the Southern Miss Student Media Weekly Wrap Up.